I'm going to be real. I wasn't expecting a 2-minute trailer. I wasn't expecting to see nearly as much as we saw. And I also wasn't expecting a Christmas 2026 debut for this. I thought this was going to be in 2027 for sure. I'm surprised we got so much in this first trailer, period. And there is a lot, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about within the trailer. But the one thing that caught people's attention was Black Snape. This is not an AI picture. This is not a picture from like a new Blade movie. This is not a picture from fucking a Twilight movie. This is Snape. Zippered up Snape, by the way, who is black and has dreads. I don't know how you can see it and just not fucking laugh.
Really goes well with the description in the book, doesn't it?
Right. Everybody's memeing on this thing right now. I mean, it's like fucking welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
That was the funniest one, I think. That made me laugh. I think I sent that to you. But yeah, it's all over the timeline. People using Grok to make little movies of him with a gun instead of a wand and stuff like that.
And when you look at the reaction so far, look, it's not close to getting ratioed or anything, but 186,000 likes to 73,000 dislikes. That is a hefty amount of dislikes on this trailer. And I'm just being honest. I think there is some criticism for maybe the tone a little bit and stuff like that. And we'll talk about it. But basically all of the dislike for the most part is about Black Snape. And you didn't need to do this. You didn't have to do this. You've done this to yourselves. From the moment it was announced, you knew it was going to be massively unpopular, and you went ahead with it anyway. But let's watch the trailer.
I told you. You are a normal boy. And you're going to start acting like one. You think you're something special? There is nothing special about you.
Now, you are getting some stuff like that we haven't got to see in the movies. You know, this scene with Harry and Aunt Petunia like cutting his hair because she's so frustrated with it. Him getting, you know, chased around and bullied in school by Dudley and his friends, things like this. I will say, this is Uncle Vernon. This motherfucker needs to be so fat. Why does he look like this? He needs to be fat. Give me fat Uncle Vernon. This is bullshit. Just want to say it.
About you.
I've always wanted to know about my parents.
Your parents were the kindest, bravest people I ever met. They were funny and clever, and they stood up for what they believed was right.
Your parents were the kindest, bravest people I ever met. Fast forward to season 5 when Harry witnesses his father hanging a black man from under a tree. Can't wait for that. So I think that Nick Frost looks fine as Hagrid, and they've got like obviously the size. He's huge, sitting in that car. He looks massive. I don't like his voice. I'm not a big fan of his Hagrid voice.
It is interesting that they, you know, for the most part, they want to try to get some things as accurate as they can in the book, and others they're just like, you have free liberties to do whatever you want.
That's one of the frustrating parts, actually, because they are going to be including so many things that we didn't get to see in the movie, and there does seem to be some attention to detail on some of the stuff, yet it makes the Black Snape thing so much worse because it's such an intentional decision.
Yeah.
The next time I see you will be in Hogwarts.
Mr. Potter, I think we can expect great things from you. Let's see who you are.
Now, look. There's another image of Dumbledore out there that actually looks very, very good. I think this is whatever he looks. He looks like he's trying to explain why they found a bunch of tunnels under Hogwarts right here. I'm not gonna lie. There is another image, this one right here, actually, that I think he looks fucking awesome that they've released. I think that looks really, really good as Dumbledore. But dude, the Snape moment,
it's kind of funny,
bro. Let me go right.
It just looks so out of place. Just completely out of place. Everything else just kind of looks like a remake of the movies. You know,
some people are saying, why does it look so similar to the movies? Here's my thing. The parts that the movies nailed that are straight out of the book, it should look like that, right?
Correct. Correct.
It should look like that for some of these things. We should see so many similarities because for some of the things that they did with the movies, they did take right out of the books, especially with those first couple movies. So should be seeing similarities. It should look like that for the things that they got right.
Was there some parts of the movie that you didn't like at all that they took a little too much liberty in, or they pretty much covered the basis for what they were trying to do?
I think as you go further on with the books, as the books get bigger, they're kind of forced to pick and choose the things they have in and the things they leave out, and some character moments get combined with other ones, and some people have a little bit different things to do. I think one of the biggest sins of the movies in general is leaving out so many of Ron's good moments and giving some of those good moments to Hermione. I think Ron gets done really dirty in the movies overall, but there's just so much we missed out on in terms of the plot. And for some of these books, when you get to Goblet and Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince, because there's so much and it gets so complicated and it builds on so much, when you have to take those movies and shorten them down to 2 hours, you're going to miss out on things.
Right.
And that, in an ideal world, is what this series should be able to give us. It should be able to do all of that stuff. Now, they're also adding things. We're talking about getting home scenes with Hermione and Draco and getting extra scenes with Dumbledore. We're going to get pensive flashback sequences, which I don't like that, because part of the magic of Harry Potter and what makes it a compelling story from beginning to end, and also book to book, is the mystery element, the not knowing everything, the not having everything revealed, not having all the information other than what Harry knows in these specific moments. The idea that we're going to get to see the Burrow in the first season of this, Ron's home life, I don't like that, because what that's going to do is in season 2, in book 2, when Harry goes to the Burrow for the first time, and you just get this incredible sense of wonderment from Harry while he's experiencing it for the first time, we will have already seen that.
Yes.
I don't like those additions. There's enough in the book. You don't need to make these additions. But this is the dumbest fucking decision they can make with Black Snape. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying you're right. It looks so out of place. And I do hate the fact that Hollywood loves to do that, is erase the mystery aspect of some of the storytelling that we love, that caused like certain fandoms to like have debates and talks and things like that. And they're just like, well, we're just going to write the origin story so you know exactly what happened. It's like they don't need to do that. You're absolutely correct.
Are you really Harry Potter?
I don't love that it ends on that. But I'm surprised it's going to be Christmas 2026. Look, I think some things look good in it.
Yeah.
It is a difficult thing to do, considering this movie series, which was quite an accomplishment and achievement, taking a beloved book series, turning it into 8 movies within 10 years, and for basically all of them to be pretty well received, and for people to be very attached to the portrayals of those characters, to turn around this quickly and tell people, this is Harry, this is Ron, this is Dumbledore, this is McGonagall. No one believes this is Snape. This is Hagrid. It's tough for people to see that and not immediately think about how they felt about those other characters. When you don't have the John Williams music, it feels different. I don't love the tone and how dark it is. What I mean by that is just like the grading. Those first couple Harry Potter movies were very bright and colorful. Now, they made decisions to get a little more gray and sepia tone, even with some of them down the stretch. those books get a little more gray and dark in general. But for the opening for us to see, it just does seem like it's a rather colorless palette like we see from a lot of stuff out there. I don't love that. The trailer seems to be missing a little bit of the sense of whimsy and wonder that we want to feel for these first couple movies, specifically as Harry's discovering this world. And
I agree. And that's the beauty of like you said, the first, they were a little more lighthearted than as the series stretched on. So it's like experiencing the first time he he walked into the school, went through the town, discovered how to pick a wand, all that stuff like through his eyes was really neat.
Bro, this looks fucking ridiculous. Here's the problem. Even if you don't love some of the casting choices for some of these other characters, you can look at Nick Frost and be like, oh, he's Hagrid. You can look at Janet McTeer and be like, oh, that's McGonagall. You can look at John Lithgow and be like, okay, that's Dumbledore.
Yeah.
There is no way in a vacuum that you could show this to any fan of Harry Potter that's out there, for anybody that had watched the movies or read the books or anything, and be like, tell me who this is. They would have no fucking idea. But it's Snape. And
it's a guy that broke out of
it's going to have ramifications on the story. It's going to have ramifications on how these interactions are looked at. I don't think it'll be as big early on as it will be later when a story gets more complicated and Snape gets more complex and complicated. For right now, it's just going to be jokes and memes about how the one fucking black teacher at Hogwarts Harry thinks is up to no good. You know what I mean? That will be most of the memes from the first season.
Oh, easy. I mean, this is they're doing 10 seasons, right? Roughly?
No.
Okay. Well, that's why I asked.
Why would they do 10 seasons? So it is supposed to be about a decade of time, but there's 7 books. Could they split one of those into 2 seasons? Because they split the last one into 2 seasons like they did for the movie? Maybe. But I think you could just do a longer season, right? But 7 seasons for sure, if everything goes to plan. Look, despite my complaints about this, especially Snape, I think that when this debuts, it is going to be the biggest fucking streaming thing we may have ever seen. I really do. Despite my concerns and the things that I don't necessarily love about the trailer, I think the trailer's fine. I really do. For the most part, I have nitpicks. I wish it was a little bit different tone. I don't like the music as much as John Williams. Most of that is me comparing it to the movies. That's what I think. I have bigger concerns about the overall narrative surrounding the things that they're adding to this show, and of course this Black Snape bullshit.
I never was a really big Harry Potter person, so I guess we'll see. Yeah, you're probably right. It could be the biggest. I think a lot of people will watch it out of curiosity. Some people will watch it just out of like you said, memes.
But at least we get this.
Yeah.
I'm Black Snape. Yeah. I'm Black Snape.
All right, we'll skip over the gun part, Perry.
Black skin, walk the hall, they whispering. Cauldron bubble, I'm different. Dark eyes don't flinch, just glimmering. House points, man, miss me. Came from pain, they history. Same blood, they fear, they diss me. But they copy my brew, still sip me. Side eye from the portraits. Cold stone, but my soul scorched. They ain't teach where I'm from, had to learn from the alleys in the torch. Half prince in the world that hate. Half rage in the narrow gate. Half hood in the castle gate. Hold me, never run from flags.
I'm black,
funny, dude.
Bro.
In the classroom.
This thing's got 1 million views already, so there you go. At least we get memes like this. The memes have been out of this world on Twitter. And despite anything else about the trailer, what is dominated is the Black Snape stuff.
Yeah.
It is overwhelmingly negative.
Yes.
It just is. It is overwhelmingly negative. It's not a surprise. Look, there's a reason. There is a reason that we saw over the past week, we saw Papa Sidu doing interviews where he talked about all the abuse he's getting and the death threats and stuff like this, because they knew they were going to release this trailer. They wanted to fucking preempt it. They wanted to try to limit some of the negativity because people might be afraid of this or that. Look, death threats aren't okay, right?
Right.
Somebody shouldn't be getting death threats because they take a role in a movie or a television show, or because of their opinion on a movie or a television show. But in the age of the internet, with the amount of anonymous people who think you can just say whatever you want, it's a reality. It's a reality for me that when I criticize them casting Black Snape and how ridiculous it is, I'm going to have Black people in my Instagram threatening to kill me. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it okay that he's had to go through that. But it also is just part of the internet. You can say you like waffles better than pancakes, and there will be people that threaten to kill you. This is the world that we fucking live in. For them to go out there and push him out there to make sure he tries to victimize himself to try to prevent some of the backlash, they know that this was that it was going to be incredibly unpopular, and they fucking did it anyway.
I think that article that you just posted, didn't that come out yesterday? Or was that later?
It came out like Friday or Saturday or something.
Yeah, so it's like I feel like they wanted to get that out quickly, just to maybe just to, I don't know. They thought it might help ease tensions. They're like, oh man, he's getting death threats, so that's terrible. Like, let's support this. The thing is, we've seen that type of like press happen. Like even in Star Wars, man, with Reva and in the Acolyte, the lead people would come out and be like, "Oh yeah, like they're sending me death threats and they want to kill me and everything just because I played a role." It seems like it's just right on cue for the media to put that stuff out there to try to, I don't know what they're like, just to show like maybe we should support this because they shouldn't be going through that. But Ryan is correct. Last week, G&G did an article on the freaking Transformers. They used my video and my quotes from my video in that article. And yeah, there was people that are quote tweeting are like, we want to kill this person. I'm like, holy crap, man, over a comic book series. So it happens. Anytime you put your opinion out there on the internet, there are people that will say stuff that, and Ryan's right. Does it make it right? Of course not. But after a while, you're just kind of like, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. So if they didn't expect this to happen, they're lying to themselves because they knew exactly that all that stuff was going to happen. They knew.
And they're going to be dealing with it for a decade. And I genuinely think if Black Snape isn't in this trailer, the trailer like to dislike is much more overwhelmingly positive. Again, you've set yourself with a really tall task because people love the movies. They just do. People love the books and people love the movies. And they still think of those characters as those characters. And they cast some great actors and actresses for some of these roles. You know what I mean? And to see anybody replace them, it's going to be difficult and it's not going to feel the same and you're going to be resistant to it. So you're already in a tough spot. You make that spot much more incredibly difficult when you do something as disgustingly disingenuous as pretending like Papa Esito is just the best person for the role. It's bullshit. It's just straight up bullshit.
And they should have known like how passionate Harry Potter fans are. Like even at like Universal Studios in the middle of July, people spend thousands of dollars to come and they spend all day in that little Harry Potter section wearing them hot robes just so they could like play with their wand on the little interactive stuff and just be in that world. That is the most crowded area of all of Universal Island of Adventure at any given day. The rest of the park could be empty, but everybody's in their robes, man, like getting their stuff. They're buying their chocolate frogs and everything else. It's just, and then same thing on the other side. The Diagon Alley is just as crazy. So that fan base is very, very passionate.
No doubt.